Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's me, Mary, and I am here tonight with Match Me Abroad, Season 2, Episode 2. I am feeling this season so far. Okay, if I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid B plus. Um, Harold, oh Harold, I just want to reach to the TV and give him a hug. And how often is it when a alpaca spits into someone's face on TV? Yeah, well, we got it on this episode, so let's hop right into it. So first off, we have Amber. Okay. Amber's matchmaker, Katerina, is a little worried about her because she likes to rush into things like a typical American. Everything is quick, quick, quick. Want it now. Well, in Ireland, it's a little bit different. Okay. They like to take things slow and get to know each other. And Katerina thinks, that Amber needs to learn this behavior. Just take a step back, slow down. So she set Amber up on a speed dating thingy last episode, and this is where she met Kevin. She was having a jolly old good time with him last episode, so he asked her out on a date, and they met up at a alpaca farm. Alpacas are cute, okay? They really are, but to me, they could be kind of scary because okay, Amber's alpaca was kind of stubborn, didn't want to cooperate, and it wound up spitting in her face. So Kevin is having a good old time with her. Amber gets a little loud and boisterous and a little like extra when she got spat on. And it was cute though, and Kevin went with it. Amber was worried that she was a little bit over the top and a little bit extra, but Kevin went with it and it was cute. The date went well, even though she got spat on. The date went well, and so they're sitting there talking, having their little lunch or whatever. And this is when she learns that he lives at home. And she is like, hold up, wait a minute. And we're not only talking about just his parents, his grandmother, his sister, like he has a whole house full of people. And Amber is like, hold up, wait a minute, Katarina, you didn't tell me that he lived at home. Okay. And this kind of seems like a deal breaker for her, but I wonder if this is just a cultural thing, and I'm feeling like it is. That Irish men live at home with their parents until they get married, and same with Irish chicks. So, yeah. So Amber is like, hold up, I didn't want this in the bargain. I haven't dated a guy who lived at home in like I don't know how many years. So we're gonna see how this works out between them. But I think Kevin is a cutie. Kevin is a cutie and she should give it a chance. But we shall see. Harold. Oh, Harold, I just want to reach to the TV and give you a hug. I just want to let you guys know I didn't see season one of Match Me Abroad. I know he was on season one. I just want to reach through the TV and just like, dude, ugh. Okay, so we know Harold's on the spectrum, okay? And there's certain things that need to be refined about him so he could find his love in Singapore. And this is why he has his matchmaker, Dolly, okay? And Dolly decides that she is going to set up a mock date for him, okay? Get dressed up in your best outfit, put on your best suspenders, Harold, and you are going to go on a mock date with Dolly's colleague, okay? And the date, needless to say, was really, really fucking awkward, you guys, okay? First of all, his body language, he was stiff as a board. Then he gave her one of his little sketchings, you know how he likes to draw, and he walks around with a little sketchbook because, he's quirky like that. Well, like within the first minute of him sitting down, he's giving her a sketch, which she was like, "Oh, that's so nice, thank you," but He hadn't asked her any questions. They hadn't had a conversation at all. And he's already giving her a sketch of a rose. So that was kind of awkward. The whole date itself was awkward and cringy AF. Poor Harold. He looked like what the fuck did I get myself into? So Dolly comes over to the table to give her feedback. And she asks her colleague, what did you think of the date? And her colleague's like, he could have asked more questions, about me. His body language, he seemed very stiff and nervous. And as for the sketch of the rose, he could have waited a little bit later into the date to give it to me. So Dolly asks Harold, can you do me a favor? Instead of sitting up like this, stiff as a board, can you just relax, sit back, and just relax? And you have to admit, he looks so much better with his body just relaxed. Okay, she says it makes him seem stronger, more confident. So Harold's taking all of this in because, he wants to find the love of his life in Singapore. So he's going to listen to Dolly, and hopefully, all of Dolly's advice will equal him finding the love of his life. Moving on, we have Monica, who is going to Brazil. Okay. Last episode, her matchmaker showed her a video of this guy. Unfortunately, his name slips my mind at the moment. But she saw this video of this Brazilian guy and she was like, "Ooh, he's cute. I can't wait to go out on a date with him." So she meets up with her matchmaker at dinner. And basically, she's told that even though she's seen the video of this dude and she's been thinking about this dude on the plane and she can't wait to go on the date with him, he's not going to be the first one that she's going to go out on a date with. And she's like, "Oh, interesting." So she has a conversation with her matchmaker about how hard it is for her to put herself first. Okay, she spent so many years raising her daughter alone and always putting her daughter first, as she should. But now her daughter is entering adulthood and into her own stage of life. So now, it's time for her to take care of herself. Okay, and her matchmaker, gives her some good advice. So the next week, we see Monica, okay, playing volleyball, but with no hands, okay, with three hot shirtless dudes. So we shall see if Monica finds the love of her life in Brazil because there is a lot of hot dudes there. Now, we get introduced to Victoria. Victoria. Okay, she's from New York City. She is from New York City. She moved here 3 years ago from Texas. Okay, she's been on 75 first dates. Yes, you heard me right. She counted them. 75 first dates. She is a self-described people pleaser. Okay, she is quirky AF. And she hasn't been able to find love in the biggest city in the States. So she decided that she is going to Ireland. Okay. And who is her matchmaker? Katerina. So Victoria had a prior relationship with an Irish guy, and she still stays friends with him. And it was actually, his idea for maybe her to try a matchmaker. When she asked him about it, he was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Go for it." And being a people pleaser, did Victoria decide to go for it just, because her ex told her it would be a great idea? Who knows? But she met Katerina online, and Katerina is also the matchmaker for Amber. Okay. So Victoria is talking to her girlfriends about her expectations in a man, and basically we learn about her history with her dad. Unfortunately, it looks like her mom, died when she was relatively young, and her father suffered from a drug addiction, and he was in and out of prison. She was raised by her grandmother, her father's mom, and he died when she was 19. So Victoria has a tendency of oversharing on her first date. So her friends are like, maybe you just need to learn just to take a step back and just to hold back and not overshare so much. So Victoria arrives in Dublin, meets Katerina at the airport, and the first thing Katerina notices is the way Victoria is dressed. She is in that comfy sweatsuit, comfy sneakers. I mean, it is a 6 hour flight from New York City to Dublin, okay? So I'm totally down with her dressing comfy. Katerina's like, well, us Europeans dress up to travel, and this shows me that she doesn't want to be seen because, nobody's going to see her dressed like this. And I'm thinking in my head, well, Katerina, it is a 6 hour flight. I don't think she wants to do it in like strappy heels and a dress. But that's just my opinion. I don't see anything wrong with traveling in sweats, okay? And like Victoria said, hey, if the love of her life is on the plane, he's going to fall in love with her. Sweats, sneakers, ponytail, and all. Just saying, okay? So, yeah, Katarina's like, this shows me that she doesn't want to be seen. And I don't agree with you necessarily, Katarina, with this, okay? I know you're the expert, you're the matchmaker and everything, but I don't necessarily agree with you. What I do agree with Katarina on is Victoria is such a people pleaser. She may not know who she truly is and what she truly wants because she had to, run by her list of expectations in a man with her friends before presenting it to Katerina. That was Katerina's homework. She wanted her to do a list of what she wanted in a man. So Katerina's like, let me get this straight. So you had to run this by your friends first? Like, do you have any thoughts of your own? And Victoria's like, no, I just wanted to get their feedback. So what does she want in a man? Compassionate, smart, caring, hair, tall so he could change light bulbs. And Katerina is just like, this just shows me that she doesn't even know who she is. I have to figure out who she is to figure out the type of man that she would want because she is a people pleaser and she just adjusts herself to whatever situation arises just to please people. So, Katerina, her approach didn't rub off on Victoria so well in the car. Victoria was kind of like thrown off by what she perceived as coldness. I just perceive it as Katerina being a professional, and Katerina just telling her, listen, I asked you to do a list and you had to run it by your friends before you give it to me. You're a grown woman. You should just be able to write a list and just give it to me. So, even though Victoria was thrown off by that, very strict professional tone of Katerina, I don't think she did anything wrong. So Victoria feels like that maybe Katerina's not going to be able to truly, figure out what kind of man to match her up with, and she doesn't want to waste her time going out on date after date after date and just not getting anywhere. I perceive her to be a problem. Okay, I see Victoria as a pain in the ass, and Katarina's gonna be like, okay, in the next couple of episodes. So we shall see. Thank you, everybody, for watching me. By the way, Match Me Abroad airs on TLC in between what's going to be 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After starting this Sunday and Pillow Talk. So it airs at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, okay, on TLC, and you can catch it next day on Max. So, thank you everybody for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Double check that you are subscribed. Share my video with a friend or 10, and please consider joining my membership. Thank you so much. See you next time.